Welcome, everyone. I am John Ryan of SportsMemo.com, and you are watching the NBA Triple-Double. We're down to the final 3 games. Maybe it won't even be that many. At least the final 3 games maximum. It's going to take at least 2 more for either one of these teams to win. And that's Golden State at home tonight as a small favorite in Game 5 against the Boston Celtics. Ronald, I have a thought, and this is one thing that I'm sure you're aware of that has only happened one time in NBA history. And that is that we could have an MVP on a losing team. Last time that happened, 1969, Jerry West and the LA Lakers. Some guy named Lou Alcindor, Abdul-Jabbar was his next name. Kareem got injured and Jerry West just went off. It wasn't enough. The Lakers lost. But he did receive the MVP award in a losing manner and is still the only one. But I don't think there's anybody even remotely close to what Curry has done. And I'm just wondering whether that's the bet to make if you like the Warriors to win the series instead of betting them tonight or betting them in Game 6 or 7. Mm-hmm. Just bet Curry to win because you might win money even if they don't win.
Yeah, that's a tough call because I mean, obviously you just mentioned like it doesn't happen often, so it really is like, are we really gonna be able to see, that situation pop up again? It's been what 30 plus years. It's tough, but I mean, there's a lot. I mean, the way that he's been playing, literally, he's been carrying Golden State on his back this whole time. Yeah. And I mean, if it could happen, it would be with Stephen Curry, the way that he's been playing in this series.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. And Jerry West would thank you very much for saying that it's only 31 years ago. I think that's what you said because it's actually 53 years ago. So, don't. It is what it is. It kind of reminds me of the situation that was 1980, I believe, the Lakers, Magic Johnson against the Sixers. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went down, and Kareem played center in that Game 6 win in Philadelphia. And that too, if the Lakers wouldn't have won the series, Magic might have been the first MVP or the second MVP to be on a losing team because the Sixers were a team. They, Moses Malone, of course, but I think it could have easily gone to Magic as I think he was in his second year. Yeah. Or was he a rookie? It doesn't really matter because I didn't research it, but it does remind me of that type of series where a guy just stands out above the crowd, and Curry certainly does stand out above the crowd. I guess before we dig into the nuts and bolts, I do have a series of situational angles that I put together. But do you want to let's look at the prop bets first before we do that. And I'm looking at the BetMGM, and I actually gave out to the All Access clients. My pick was Golden State in Game 4, and Wiggins double paid off 5-1. Wow. I think he does it again. I really do. He had a career high rebounds. What was it? 16 boards. And it doesn't seem like the Celtics really have an answer to him. And if they do have an answer to him, that means it's going to take more attention away from Curry and potentially Klay Thompson, who I haven't given up on as a shooter and an elite shooter at that. What do you think of Wiggins' double-double in Game 5 tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. It's weird that I see his prop rebound prop at 6.5, but it is juiced to -150. And his PRA is at 26.5. It's weird that it's that low, to be honest, especially the way that he played in the last game. I feel like if they found success with how they played in Game 4, why not continue doing the same thing and playing the same rotation? Unless they see Boston really making solid adjustments to what happened. But I could definitely see him getting this double-double in this game. The defense, the missed shots, and how Boston shot 40% from the field. And if I don't think they're going to shoot 50%, they're going to have a lot of opportunities for rebounds. And the way that the Golden State had their rotation going, Wiggins might have a lot of opportunity again to get those rebounds. So to me, it makes sense. It's just funny that his prop numbers are so low. But yeah, to me that makes a lot of sense. A double double.
It does to me too, and that will be going. That'll be one of the prop bets I put in the package for sure. And of course, I do mix it up with the other teams involved, and that would be the Celtics, obviously.
Yeah.
Before we get to the Celtics side of the equation, 3-pointers made Steph Curry, I'm seeing 5.5, paying us plus 115 at Caesars right now, 112 plus 112 at FanDuel,
Mhm.
plus
So he
110
is-
at Bet Rivers.
yeah.
I mean, I gotta think he's gonna hit 6, right? I mean, is it too
Yeah.
obvious? And it's gonna be a
Well,
losing.
three of the 4 games he's hit 6. The other game he hit only 5, but he's putting up
Yeah,
at
only
least
5.
11. Yeah, he's putting up at least 12 and a half per game. So we're asking him to hit about 50% if that's the case. Yeah, I mean you're getting plus money. It could happen, but I think if Golden State is going to win today, he's going to need some support. I think they can't rely on him for this whole series. There has to be some support on the Golden State side, whether it's Clay, Wiggins, or Poole.
Yeah.
Offensively, he's going to need some support here. But regardless, he's still going to put up double, at least 10 3-pointers, 3-point attempts. So it's definitely possible. And if you get plus money on that's even better.
It seems too good to be true, and that's what makes me hesitant. That's the only thing, when it's too good to be true, it oftentimes is.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I think that's a pretty good one. And then the other one I'm looking at, Jaylen Brown. And if you like an MVP bet, and you don't agree with what I'm saying about Curry being the MVP no matter what, I don't think it's going to be Tatum, but he's really priced up there to win it. But I think Jaylen Brown, if he would have 2 or 3 really good games here, just even just a little bit above his performance to date, I think he at 7-1 on the MVP is just a tremendous opportunity.
Yeah.
And you know what? My pet peeve with this whole thing is, and I have nothing against Jason Tatum other than when he has 2 fouls, he's a matador defensive liability. And whereas Jaylen Brown could have 4 fouls like he did in the previous game, 4,
he doesn't change.
And dive for a ball because he wants to get the ball, but he gets called for a foul. I mean, I have no problem. In fact, I love a player like that. He could play with me anytime, anywhere.
Yeah. I agree. It makes a lot of sense to me.
So his prop bet here is, and the one that I like is over points and assists, 27.5. Minus 102 at FanDuel, minus 105 at MGM, and minus 110 at Caesars. Yeah. Obviously, you would do it at FanDuel. But I got to believe that if Boston's going to play a big game tonight, I would think he's going to be the leading scorer. I just have no faith anymore in Jason Tatum being the go-to guy. I mean, it seems like in the fourth quarter, he's a great shooter of the ball, but when he gets into that paint, it oftentimes results in a turnover or results in a missed shot, and then he's yelling at the ref again. Why didn't you call a foul while his team is on a 5-on-4 deficit defensively? I mean, it just seems natural to me that Jaylen Brown would be the man tonight. Mm-hmm. Think I'm right or wrong?
No, I mean it makes sense. I think what Boston needs to do with Jason Tatum is have him continue to be the distributor. You can see that they won the games where he had 13 and 9 assists, and when he had 3 and 6, he didn't. They didn't win. So he has to continue to be a distributor here, in my opinion, for Boston to win this game.
Yeah, and I completely agree. Obviously. Ron, I'm going to read off some things from the database, and you do the same stuff I do. We like drilling around, and sometimes we go down a rabbit hole, but we always find ourselves back out of it if it doesn't lead to anything.
Yeah.
And that is the key. You don't want to get trapped in one of those things. But I'm going to read off a couple of these. Home teams in Game 5 are 10-6 straight up, 8-8 against the spread, including 10-6 over/under. Not much there, right? Home favorites of any size are 9-4 straight up, 7-6 against the number, 9-4 over/under. Home favorites at least 3.5 points in Game 5, 6-2 straight up, 5-3 against the number, 63%, and the over 6-2. Yeah, we talked about the under in the Game 4, and obviously that worked out pretty well.
Mhm.
It really was never in any doubt. But the team that shot the higher 3-point percentage through the first 4 games of the finals is 11-6 straight up and against the spread and over/under. So it's 11-6 record for all 3. Celtics made 42.38%, 64 of 151. Warriors have made 31%, 64 of 155 of their 3-pointers. So that favors the Celtics. If that team is the road team in Game 5, the over/under is 5-1 to the over. So I know we all, professional bettors always bet the under, especially the NCAA tournament rounds, the round 1 especially. And in the NBA playoffs, it has worked very well over the years too. But this data seems to be pointing me to the over in this game, and I'm not sure if that's something I want to take on anytime soon. But I was just wondering what your thoughts are on the total.
On the total, yeah, I mean, it's been going up and down, right? Over, under. It's almost like a zigzag theory from a total perspective, right? Because they're making their adjustments game after game, and it's like a chess match. And to me, this one is tough. I think 212 is the total here. I don't know. This one is really tough because it can always go either way. We talked about like the reffing aspect of it, where we expect adjustments from the reffing standpoint. And to me, I think the last game was really evenly matched. So hopefully from here on out, we see an evenly reffed game for the last 3 games or 2 games of the series here. And if that stays true, then I feel like it should go towards the under here, because we're not going to see excessive fouls called or anything like that, and we're not going to see them going to the free throw line 30 plus times or whatever it might be. I think as long as we continue to do that and stay within like the 20 free throw attempts range, then I feel like these should go under, because the defensive intensity starts to pick up. I think we're going to see, the longer the series goes, the shots are going to get shorter, right? Because tired legs. These guys are playing 38 to 44 minutes per game, right? Because the rotation is really small here. It's really just like a 7 to 8 man rotation here for both teams. In majority of the bench players are only putting up like 10 minutes per game, not really even in the 20s at all. So for me, I think it's a combination of a lot of things: defense, tired legs, and so for me, it would be towards the under. I think that what was the total from the previous game here? 214.
Yeah, that was it. Yep.
214, and it's gone 2 points down. Not only that, you got the travel situation, so maybe there's a little bit of travel fatigue going from east to west. So I could only look towards the under here.
Yeah, I know the data is saying to the over. There's another one here that I'll mention. The better assist to field goal ratio. So that's total assists to field goals made. It's a pretty important metric in definitely some of my models. And I know it's important in your handicapping work as well, Ronald. But the team with the better assist to field goals made ratio, 10-6 straight up, 12-4 against the number for 75% winning bets. And again, the over at this point's 10-6, and I can't stop looking at it. And if this team is the underdog like the Celtics are, the Celtics actually have the better assist to field goal made ratio. They are 2-3 straight up, 4-1 against the spread, and a perfect 5-0 over in Game 5. it points me that way. But the rest of the experience, intuition, and other data does point to the under. So
Yeah.
this is a good example of what the problem solving, I guess, we have to do every single day to handicap a game. We could have a show where we could easily put out 25 angles that support the Warriors, 25 more to support the Celtics, 25 to support the over, 25 more to support the under. And that's the world of data. It's not a system that just all of a sudden appears and is only applicable to the Warriors or the Celtics. We have another system that probably would support the other team. So it does become a little bit more difficult when you have this conflicting angles and situational angles appearing all over the place. But I'm gonna for the show purpose, I'm definitely leaning towards the under in this. And again, it always brings up the live in-game betting, right, Ronald? It's like, bet 50% max of your normal bet size before the game starts, and then allow the volatility to work in your favor. So, we're at 210.5, I think, mostly, or 211. So do 50% of your bet size. If it's $100 a game, do 50. And then in-game, look at 216 or 217.5, and then 221.5 for the other two parts of 25%. 25%, and only in the first half. If you don't get it, you still have 50%. And if it doesn't get that high, that also means, and it applies, that you're already winning that bet. Obviously, if you don't get the 217.5, the game's probably playing under for you. So that's where I think, this past year in the NBA has been really good for me just overall, and it's been good for you as well. But the in-game betting, I just wish there was a way that I could get it to my all-access clients, but you can't.
You can't. Yeah.
I'm going to sit on Twitter and some people aren't going to sit around and listen to one guy on Twitter. It's not going to happen. But I wish there was a way to communicate it better. And have a big megaphone or something, and the whole world can hear it without being on Twitter. I have no idea, but
with these shows though, we always talk about the live in-game stuff, especially within Triple Double. In a lot of the shows that I'm on, we don't really talk about that piece of it, right? It's all pregame looks and how we think the game is going to go, but we never really talk about the live in-game portion of it. And I think that's what's different about Triple Double. Real quick, John, you got maybe some cleanup to do in the chat there. And then but yeah, so just the live betting aspect of it is something that's cool about Triple Double that you bring to the table. Even though we can't really push that out to our premium members, I think just the thought process that we mentioned here, as long as they take that piece of it, we can all learn from it. So I think that's what's different about Triple Double here, that we bring that live aspect of it, or the live betting aspect of it.
Yeah, and the neat thing is it works. It's not some kind of magic potion. It's some of the math that we use to come up with those levels are pretty sophisticated, because it ties into my Wall Street experience and implied volatility using option strategies, which would be a good thing to do today, given that market's down about 900 points today. And I am going to do a little 2-minute show about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, which I do with Steve Merrill usually on Wednesdays. But I'm going to do an update today because the markets are just ridiculously down. Kind of scary, but it also gives you opportunity with this kind of volatility, right? So the market's getting hammered today, much like in the game tonight. You'll probably see the players score like they're playing in the mud, and the pace will be bad, and it won't be, they won't be performing well, just like the market's not performing well. But over the course of the game, you're going to have rallies. You're going to have times where the slam dunk, three-pointer. And, you got to make that work for you. That's the whole point. It's there for the taking, and it's you just have to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
So I think we covered just about everything. Do you have anything else to add? Do you have anything going on at SportsMemo? Most importantly, it's $9 Monday, by the way.
Yeah, I'll be posting my NBA plays today. I believe it's probably just going to be one play, and then we're probably going to do one MLB play as well. I have one one MLB game that I've kind of pushed to the side to really deep dive into, because a lot of my systems have pulled it. So that's probably what I'm going to be looking into after that, after this show here.
It's awesome. I'll have essentially one of each NBA. My NHL play for game one is already up, and that's one I like quite a bit. That's almost a 5%er. It almost made it. It's like a 4.8%er. It's really, I really like my pick on that one, and hopefully it comes through in the winners column. And then let's see. Yeah, I'll probably have at least one MLB. I have two on the radar. If I can put together a 3-pack, I will. And then, of course, the NBA game tonight, where you and I are both kind of kicking butt here. And I'm trying to go back to back with you. You were number one last year. And the year before that, I believe I was first or second. And now I'm trying to be first or second. Well, no, I'm not trying to be second. If you're second, you're last, right? Talladega Nights. If you're second, you're last. And that's so true. Who cares? Do you remember who lost the Super Bowl 5 years ago? The runner-up? No. Do you remember that Brady won it? Yes. So anyway.
You always want to go for first. That's all good. Oh, man. But yeah, I think a few things that I want to note, though, just like from a trend perspective, I think a lot of people are going to look at the Celtics here with their their ability to come off of losses, right? 7-0 straight up, 7-0 against the spread following a loss in the playoffs here. On the other side, we have the Warriors, who just do well at home, right? The 10-1 straight up, 8-3 against the spread. At home in the playoffs. The only loss was to Boston. So maybe this is a spot here where the Warriors kind of get that revenge here and give Celtics their first loss after following up a revenge game for the Celtics. So this is going to be interesting. There's, like you mentioned earlier, trends on both sides here to support. Another thing too, I was looking at the zigzag theory here, and specifically with how this series has gone with the home team losing game one, right? So loss for the home team, win, loss, win. Typically in game fives here, the zigzag typically ends. So that's one thing to note as well. I think I was looking at a couple of different SDQL sites that we both use, John. Unfortunately, they didn't match up, but majority of it did, and majority of them are saying Warriors might be the play tonight. With that said, give me the Dogs at 13-1 straight up in the playoffs, dating back to 2005 in Game Fives. Not only the finals, but just the playoffs in general. When it goes loss win. So the team that won, that is the home favorite in Game 5, typically gets the W there. So that's one interesting note there. From a side perspective, but I mean, like you said, though, you have a lot of support on the Boston side as well, especially in these revenge situations. They haven't going from a home game to a non-conference road game, so from east to west, their ability to play in those situations, it's like it's not an issue either. So they've been doing well in those spots, going from east to west, home to a non-conference game, and this is just going to be an awesome game to watch as a fan here.
Yeah, no doubt. I can't wait myself, and that's the roles of these teams. You got strength and physicality with the Celtics against finesse and flash with the Warriors, and a little moxie too. And maybe Draymond Green's not playing his best basketball right now. I think he's almost doing well, I don't want to compare it to Ben Simmons, but I mean, he looks scared out there, and that's really unusual for a guy like Draymond Green to be playing, hesitantly as he is. Maybe it's not the word scared, but when you're playing a game and you don't want to make a mistake to hurt your team, what ends up happening? You end up hurting your team. And that's probably what's going through his head, is that, I'm wide open for a three. I normally would take this, but I'm not going to. I'd rather pass it off. And, that's, maybe we'll see a different Draymond tonight too, which I would have to think we'll see a different version of him. And maybe some of the prop bets over points scored, maybe it's got to be like 6.5, maybe.
Oh
That
yeah,
might be worth taking a look at too.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think
First half over 102 and a half. I almost kind of like that idea because then if it goes over 102 and a half, I'm pounding the under in the second half. Same
mhm.
thing with the first half. If Boston's winning the first half, it's the same thing we've been saying the whole series, the whole playoffs. I don't care what the name of the team is. If the favorite is losing at the half and they are a home favorite, I'm all over that team. And what
Yeah,
I mean by all over, it's pizza money bet. No more than 1%, and that's it. But I think that's the way I'm gonna play it, at least in game here, and then the total with the under. And those staggered 217 and a half, 221 and a half, and you look for that in game and see what happens.
yeah.
I don't know what else
I
to
mean,
say about it.
that makes sense to me. Bill McDonald actually has a good comment there with the Warriors third quarter. Warriors have covered every quarter, third quarter so far this series. I mean, what? This is
It's a
game
plus a
five
half.
now. This is game five now. Are we expecting the Celtics to finally figure it out here in such a key game? I it's just really interesting to me. I feel like I felt like the last game, game four, was a spot for the Celtics to take that third quarter, but I think with Golden State being down at half, that kind of changed the dynamic of the game, right? I think if Golden State was winning at half, um, Boston would have that more of a sense of urgency coming out of the gate there, but they didn't. So I don't know. To me that I've been saying it like at some point Celtics are gonna have to cover a third quarter. But it just seems like the Warriors just make those halftime adjustments like nobody else can. Um,
So true.
yeah, I don't. It's weird. It's very weird. Like why do they have to always wait till the third quarter? So I don't know.
Well, I remember a football game, Ron, where it was against the Indianapolis Colts and a guy named Tom Brady. I think it was what 7-7 at the half, and the balls weren't the proper weight, right? And they added more air to them. And I believe the final score was 42-7. So there again, that's a perfect example of why wait. Just if you're superior, just why don't you do it in the first quarter, and then you don't have to worry about adjustments.
Yeah.
I tried to be funny there. That wasn't very funny. Wasn't funny at all. I can see our production engineer Chris rolling his eyes right now. Like, John, can you just like shut up for once? But anything else, Ron, you want to add?
No, that's it. I'm just ready to watch this game. This series has been amazing. I love this series. It's probably one of the best ones I've seen in a long time.
You're right. It's one of those where I wish it was best of 11.
I think
You know?
one big thing is really because of how Stephen Curry has been playing. Like
Yep.
it's amazing to watch him to play in this situation here, and how he's kind of carried the team. But I do think if Golden State's going to win, he's going to need some support. Golden State can't rely on him scoring 40 points a game here going forward.
Yeah, and
There's no
I
way.
totally agree with that. He did have, I think, 13 games of over 30 points this year. So if he does throw in 30 or between 30 and 35 tonight, and he gets just a little bit of help, I mean, he's only asking for 10 points for the whole game.
Yeah, yeah.
That would
You
equal
know
what
what?
he scored last game, right?
Yeah, I mean, the going back to what you said about Draymond, I wouldn't be surprised if they go ahead and just go straight to Draymond early to give him that sort of confidence. Even if it's just, I wouldn't say they're going to go through him to take those 3-point shots, but I would think they would probably run some plays here to get him some nice layups or dunks here, just open looks, just to give him some
I agree.
confidence offensively because some of these situations here when they were on fast breaks, he would literally stop at the free throw line and pass it off. Like he doesn't even want to get the contact to go to the free throw line because he's suffering from there as well. They just need to give him a little bit of confidence. Clay, I feel like in some instances is starting to build some confidence there. So is Poole, and if those guys can put it all together, Golden State's gonna be tough to stop.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Especially if he's being guarded by Al Horford. I think that would be a great matchup too.
Yeah.
attack because they really haven't done that yet, and maybe they don't.
Yeah.
But I think that's what I would look for.
Yeah, I mean, Al Horford is after game one, everyone was like Al Horford MVP. Where has he been since then? So, uh, we'll see how that goes as well.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, Ronald. Well, that'll do it for today's triple double show. I believe we're back Wednesday for the next one. There won't be a show tomorrow, but we are back Wednesday at 12:30. I believe is the schedule. So you're gonna have to remember this for 2 days, folks. Unless you listen to the MLB Full Count show today, that I'm a sub today, Ronald, for the great Joe D'Amico. High winds in Vegas are preventing a solid internet connection for him to be able to do it, so I'm filling in. But I'll be hosting that at 3:00 Eastern Standard Time. But for 2 days, if you're an NBA watcher of our show, we love you. But you're going to have to remember for 2 days to bet with your head and not over it. And may all the wins be yours as a result of doing that. We'll see you Wednesday.